So how are we going to attack those web servers? Let's take a look. You go through the usual steps. You do information gathering. You do web server footprinting. If you want, you can mirror the website so you can take your time with the copy offline. You do vulnerability scanning. If you can't directly attack the web server, you hijack someone's session. And possibly you hack web server passwords. You brute force it. With information gathering, of course, we're gathering information about the target company. And this is all part of that passive footprinting thing here, the OSINT, the open source intelligence. So we're looking online, news groups, bulletin boards, press releases. We'll have various tools to obtain sensitive details. We can even request access to robots.txt to obtain sensitive information. You know, robots.txt is a little text file that sits at the root of the web server directory that tells things like Google, do not crawl me. But they can be manipulated and exploited. There are some tools to work against that. Now we're trying to footprint the web server. We're trying to find out what version it is, what type of web server. We're trying to get system level data like account and database details. We maybe telnet the web server to grab its banner, obtain sensitive information like the server name and the type, or you can use tools to footprint it. IDserve, Netcraft. By the way, Nmap will do it, Metasploit will do it, HTTP Recon, many tools that we can use to enumerate information about the target website. If you want, you mirror the website and you take the copy offline so you can go slowly. Take your time without letting anybody know. But as I've said before, if you are going to mirror a website, go kind of slowly so that you don't set off alarms, because it's very unusual for a normal user to check out every single page and link on a website in a short amount of time. So you have the mirroring tool go slow enough that doesn't set off any alarms. So we are grabbing a complete copy of the website, and we call this a profile. It's basically a copy, and it will include the directory structure, the file structure, all the files, external links, internal links, and then we can just go all the way through it and look for stuff. We can make our footprinting more efficient by searching for comments or other things in the HTML source code. And there are tools for mirroring sites, HTTrack, Black Widow, Web Copier Pro. There are more tools actually, so just a few examples. We could vulnerability scan the website to see if there are weaknesses in the network or the host or the services. We can sniff network traffic, but we'd have to be right next to the active systems or the apps or the services to look for potential vulnerabilities. We could test the web server infrastructure, and we could look for outdated content, misconfigurations. There are any number of web server vulnerability scanning tools, HP Web Inspect, Acunetics Web Vulnerability Scanner, Metasploit Pro, let's see, what is it, Nikto. So there are a number. We could try to hijack the session. And so if we want, we'll try to hijack somebody's session to give ourselves unauthorized access by grabbing a valid session ID. Remember, session hijacking, like we talked about in the past, is after someone logs in, they're given a token or a cookie, or a token embedded in a cookie, that identifies their session so they can keep coming back, and they don't have to keep logging in. So let's just grab a copy of that. And so we can hijack their session with, and we talked about all the methods. We could sidejack, which is basically just sniffing and replaying. We could fixate, we could do cross-site, and other kinds of scripting. So we can grab those valid session IDs and cookies. And of course, session hijacking, most of these tools are automated. And there are any number of tools, Burp Suite, JHijack, Firesheep, and many others that we've seen. We could try to brute force the passwords on the web server. So brute forcing is basically a dictionary attack, but across a network, high speed. Or we could just try to password guess. Or if we had local access, we could try to do a dictionary attack against whatever has the usernames and passwords. And there are many password cracking tools that work locally and across the network. The ones across the network, THC Hydra, Brutus, Medusa, and there are plenty of Metasploit modules that will also try to do this. So we can see here, here's an example of using Hydra, but using a GUI version of Hydra. And so you specify the password and or the target and a dictionary list, and with some parameters, and you let it run, and aha, I found a login with a password. Success. Ta-da! So that's some methodology for attacking web servers.